Today on Must Play, we're bringing you another bonus round. This time, we're diving into some of the most popular golf trends at the moment and deciding if we're buying or selling. In other words, do we think these trends are here to stay, or will they be nothing more than a memory in a few years? Here to help us decide is none other than ShaneOhGolfs, who you may have seen on Instagram or TikTok, and who we know is someone that calls it like it is. Shane, welcome to the pod.
I appreciate y'all. Happy to be here.
Happy to have you on. So before we dive into the trends, real quick, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit more about your journey into golf, kind of what got you started even as a content creator.
Sure, yeah. Baseball player my entire life, and growing up, golf was always secondary. Played a little bit as a kid, but once I got to college and the dream of baseball sort of faded, picked golf back up in 2016, and since then it's been an outlet for me, an escape from reality. I fell in love with the game, and then I was playing so much. I had a couple people, hey man, you're always out on the golf course. Why don't you post about it? So picked up the phone one day, and I don't mind being in front of the camera. So started recording myself, and somehow, some way, struck gold. And here we are 6 months later, and it's been a journey, and it's been a lot of fun too.
Yeah. Tell us the strength of your golf game, and then let TJ and I guess what position you played in baseball.
Oh wow, that's a really good one. Good gosh, because I am a baseball player at heart, so I do come over the top a little bit.
Okay.
Oh goodness gracious. Right now, obviously it fluctuates, but right now I am driving the ball very well.
Okay, he's got some power.
Yep.
Probably not a pitcher.
I was not a pitcher.
Not a pitcher. I've seen Shane's build in terms of he's posted a few in real life him actual golfing videos.
Yeah.
Shane, did you play center field?
I did not.
No?
I was gonna guess second base.
I did not.
Oh.
I was a catcher.
Oh, really?
Okay. Wow.
I was a catcher. I'm 5'11", pushing 6 foot. And when I was playing, I was like 185, 190 pounds. Put on a little bit of LBs since baseball has gone away, but yeah, I've got it's a smaller build for a catcher, but it was a good build.
Okay.
Nice. On the content creation part of things, was there like a moment you felt like where things started to explode for you a little bit more? Was there a single post or moment that you felt?
So to be quite frank with you, the first post I did went viral. It was the first ever. It's this girl. She's asking. It's still fall, and I'm still single. You want to know why? And this is where my punchline line came in. I'm very loud, aggressive with the phone. And I said, don't give a shit. I want to know why I can hit a ball straight down the middle of the fairway and then chunk my shot. And I think that video has 1.7 million on TikTok. And I was like, well, we've got a good base from that. I think I gained 4,000 followers. And from there, obviously it evolves. And I've kind of steered away from that style of content where I was taking other creators that were asking questions and don't give a shit and then implementing something about golf. Yeah. But yeah, from the jump, which is like I said, I did strike gold and got very lucky, and the dominoes have continued to fall. So it's been awesome.
I think that's a wet dream of TJ's right there.
I mean, for it's tough to balance out funny content, informational content, and podcast content, which is what we do a lot on Fair Wagers. But there's definitely a rhyme or reason to, when something does work, lean the fuck into it, right?
Absolutely.
Create as many iterations of that as you possibly can until the algorithm says, no, we don't want to do this one anymore. Or I say the algorithm, but the algorithm is really just people and how people are responding to that. And until the people tap out and don't want to view your videos anymore, you might as well keep doing what's working.
100%. Yeah.
Yep. One of the things that really turned me on to your account was all of your what your blank says about you, like the clubs you play, the balls you play. I would kind of consider you someone that I agree with. I agree with your takes every time I see it. Would you consider yourself on top of golf trends too?
Yes. Yeah. I'm a golf nerd. I am an absolute golf nerd. So when they just played at Oakmont last weekend, I was studying the stent meter every single day. I was diving deep into that. When it comes to the social media side of things, not necessarily on top of like, oh, I want to follow these content creation ideas, because I want to do whatever the hell I want to do. And I think that's what really gets, I do ruffle feathers and people don't always agree with me. But as far as that goes, when it comes to content, I'm doing what I want to do.
I can think of no better segue to get into the trends. I can't wait for you to firmly plant your flag on one side or the other, okay?
I'm excited.
Yeah. All right. Before we dive in, we're going to actually hear about today's sponsor, which is Bird Darts.
Today's episode of Must Play is sponsored by Bird Darts Premium Golf Tees. Nothing relaxes me more on the course than tearing open a box and ripping a few bird darts with the boys. The 100% bamboo golf tees feature a clean design with marks to help you tee up your shots consistently, so your only swing thought is worrying about the cart girl who's watching you tee off. You can also use bird darts without worrying about harming the environment. They're biodegradable, and the packaging is made from recycled materials. Head over to their website, birddarts.com, and use code FAIRWAGERS for 10% off today. Check out their new 4-packs they just dropped for you and all your boys.
Okay, let's get into it and decide if we're buying or selling these 2025 golf trends. I've picked 10 trends that are related to equipment, golf fashion, or what we've just been seeing pop up on social media. We're going to go through these one by one. After you tell us where you stand, be sure to give an explanation as to like why you're confident one way or the other. And then before we get into the trend, I'm just going to start with a little nugget. Just give a little context for you guys, okay? So we're going to start with mini drivers. In theory, a mini driver is a golf club designed to offer a balance between the distance of a driver and the accuracy of a fairway wood. It's supposed to be a versatile option basically for tee shots on tighter courses, and you kind of put more stock in the accuracy over the maximum distance you might get with a driver. It typically is featuring a smaller head, shorter shaft than a traditional driver, and it's supposed to be easier to control, which still provides more distance than a 3-wood. So TaylorMade is widely created with popularizing the trend, although they didn't start it. They were one of the only OEMs, though, to release a mini driver semi-regularly throughout the 2000s, until more manufacturers recently capitalized on the popularity. There's your contacts. Shane, are you buying or selling mini drivers? Do you think they're going to be around in a few years is what I'm asking.
I am buying mini drivers. They're here to stay. You've got, I don't know the number off the top of my head, but I can name at least 4 tour pros that have used one this year. They are, like you just said, they're absolutely more accurate. The dispersion on those, the data speaks for itself. Everything is there. Mini drivers are here to stay. You will see a lot more tour pros be putting these in the bag, because not only you can still hit them, tour pros 300 yards. You're just going to have a tighter dispersion. You're going to be able to shot shape a lot better. And you're taking the risk out, especially when you play a course like Oakmont. You need to hit fairways. Whereas you go play somewhere like TPC Sawgrass, you miss left or right and you're 25 yards further, you're okay. But a place like Oakmont, let's dial it down just a little bit and hit a fairway. Mini drivers are going nowhere. They're here to stay.
Very confident. TJ, over to you.
I'm selling. I'm not, just to take the opposite of Shane's point. It's probably been close to 20 years at this point. I used to work at a little sporting goods store called Sports Authority when all of the golf manufacturers made the huge rush into 460cc drivers. Everyone was trying to make the biggest driver. It is what also birthed the handful of square drivers that we saw and now hold very fond memories of. The Nike Sasquatches, the Callaway, I think it was the FTI was also the square driver, and then a few other brands made them as well. And everybody was just trying to maximize full MOI by trying to make the biggest driver they possibly could. And that obviously fell out of favor. We're not trying to push the maxes anymore. We're not trying to make the biggest drivers. We're trying to make more accurate drivers or more forgiving drivers at this point. That was a very short-lived terminology. I think, Shane, while your assessment that tour pros will continue to play these and will continue to grow, I think that the Gen Pop, who can't normally hit a fairway wood when it's a smaller face, is not going to want to try and hit a smaller driver face with a mini driver. So I think the sales numbers, don't get me wrong, love the marketing and love the look of TaylorMade bringing back the burner, the R7 quad, which was like the big selling driver when I used to work in sporting goods stores. They're doing it right from a marketing and advertising perspective and creating like limited quantities of them. So I think they'll probably still continue to get made and sold because they're doing limited runs of them. But I just don't see it being adopted by the general populace of golfers who go to the range, say they're going to work on irons and chipping, and then just rip driver the whole time they're there. So,
or the next generation of golfers, maybe you don't see that happening.
I mean, maybe, but will it make it to the next generation of golfers?
Well, let me ask you
I'm out.
this, because if you were to pull 10 golfers at a driving range right now and ask them
Yeah.
if they hit a 3-wood, 5-wood, 7-wood better than their driver, I would almost be willing to put the mortgage on it that 7 out of 10 of them would say, I hit my 3-wood better than I hit my driver. So although it is a smaller driver face, I think looking over top of it, the aesthetic of the mini driver is more comfortable for the average golfer.
Interesting.
Do you tee up the mini driver the same as a regular driver, or do you like to tee a little lower?
So definitely a little bit lower, because that ball flight's going to come out lower. But the beautiful thing about it is you can take that mini driver off the fairway, and it is still a dod, but it's not as hard to hit.
Yeah.
They're exciting, man. Mini drivers are here to stay. TJ, they're not going anywhere.
Maybe it's me because I don't carry any woods. Have just historically always hit woods really poorly. So I'm just maybe it's who I am and where I'm sitting at in my handicap. But I also am of the mindset of the further, like I follow, I think it's Decade Golf who talks about the proximity to the hole is king, right? So the further we can get out there, the better. Obviously, I play on course as well where the further I can hit the ball, and if I don't lose it, that's also like a Decade Golf thing. Like the furthest you can get without penalty. So if I can just bomb the ball and it's in just another fairway as opposed to being OB, I'm going to play better rounds. Like Sean can attest to this. I go out and play Torrey Pines. Torrey Pines is a pretty open golf course. Like you can sprint over Torrey Pines and play pretty well on both sides, north and south. So I just, for me, like I'm like, yeah, but who knows? Like, maybe I could change my stance on this, and in 6 months I could be a mini driver guy. I don't know.
That is a great point, because distance is key. Obviously, play to your strengths, but the closer you are to the hole, statistically, you're going to play better golf.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sean, where are you at on this? Buying or selling?
I am buying. I think that they are going to continue to have a little bit more market share each year, and they're essentially going to be the anamorphs of 3-wood into mini driver. It's just you picture that. That's what it is. And I've played them, and I don't own one, but when I have practiced with them or tried them in a store, I'm like, I really like the way this looks. I like the way it feels. I have never hit one off the deck in play, like on the fairway. I've only hit it off the tee, so I'll hold the jury on that one. But I do think they're going to continue to get popular, and the fact that TaylorMade's putting one out fairly regularly should kind of be a hint, at least, that these things are gaining popularity. So I think he said 4 now, or maybe more manufacturers that are making these. So yeah, I do think I'm buying.
Yeah. And a quick snippet too. Mason Nutt from Busted Jack he put out a video, don't know how true it is, but he said that he's going double mini driver and putting the driver away.
Double mini driver.
He's going the burner and the R7. Yeah.
Like two, and he's going two different lofts.
That I didn't dig too deep in, and also it was a quick TikTok video, but he did say he may be the first person to go double mini driver.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay, sticking on the equipment here, we're going to go to the second trend here, which is zero torque putters. Before we dive into probably the one I'm going to bring up, can any one of you tell me what LAB stands for?
Yes, lie angle balance.
There you go. You are a golf nerd. Okay. So, LAB Golf, obviously, they've been instrumental in popularizing zero torque putters due to the designs, the implementation. Axis One Golf actually invented this tech over a decade ago, but LAB kind of made this more popular with their appealing designs. And the DF3 would just look like nothing else you'd ever seen, and that kind of gained a lot of popularity. And then, of course, add in JJ Spawn just recently at the U.S. Open, winning with a LAB putter. Probably one of the most iconic putts that are going to come from the last few years. And I just want to know, let's start with you, TJ, on this one. Are you buying or selling zero torque putters?
Well, before we talk about buying or selling, you might have created a brand new sentence there when you referred to LAB putters as appealing. like visually. That might be the first time I've ever
The
heard anybody
Oz is
talk
actually
about.
pretty good looking.
The
I like
Oz is
the Oz.
beautiful. The
The
Oz
Oz
is
is a
beautiful.
really the Oz is really nice. I think both Rev and Surreal have Oz's, and every time I play with them and I see one, I'm like, I want an Oz so bad. So we're chipping away at social media followers.
DF3 is ugly as hell, though. Let's be honest.
I mean, but that's what JJ just won with, right? Like,
yes.
So I think on this topic, though, I am buying on this. I'm buying zero torque putters. Obviously, I think if you're watching all the other brands jump in like as fast as they humanly could, right? That's an initial really good signal. Was that TaylorMade just put out a Spider. Callaway obviously has already jumped in. I think Ping's jumped in. Like all the other big putter manufacturers are jumping in on this. I think the other thing is that this is on the other side of that, where this is a huge advantage for the amateur golfer. Removing one of the potential key misses of a golfer is a mishit on the face. That's going to be huge in terms of how it can help their game. What I will say is that the only aspect that this does not have going for this, and I think Wesley Bryan talked about this in a recent video where he talked about there's two ways to miss a putt, right? Either you misjudge your speed or you misjudge your line, and you can hit one and not hit the other and miss the putt. But if you miss both, sometimes there's a chance that those will still align and you can still make a putt. So if you try and course correct with something like a lab, then you're leaving it all up to the other portion of it that you can always miss. So if you become like a terrible green reader, I mean, I guess, but you're not removing the speed.
Well, your line might be impacted by the face.
True. Never. So that could be wrong.
So there's three things.
Strike that from the record. Strike that from the record. I'm in though. I think it's here to stay as a sometimes good, sometimes bad putter. If I can remove one of the things that is going to feel wrong a lot of the time, I'm all for it. I'm itching to not have to potentially spend $600 on one to help try and shore up that aspect of my game.
All right, Shane, you buying or selling?
I'm with TJ on this one. These zero torque putters. The big thing is like TJ mentioned, every single big manufacturer, golf brand, TaylorMade with that Spider, everybody's jumping in. Now going back to the cost on these things, the price point, I think it is a little bit ridiculous. But with that being said, everything's ridiculous now. You can't buy a driver for less than $600. Zero torque putters, I wanted to hate the lab. I worked with lab for a little bit. I didn't want to like it. I've got a Scotty Cameron. I've gamed a Scotty Cameron for the last 8 years. I took the lab out in the first round. I put the Scotty Cameron in the closet. There's something about it. I don't know what it is. It very well too. This is something that I've been jotting my brain about is there a little bit of placebo going on with the zero torque putters? Is there something there that's like, shit, it's so different that it just feels in every stroke that you make, wherever your wrists are lined up, the path of your stroke is where that ball will roll. There's something about them. I'm buying them. They are not going anywhere either. Mini drivers, zero torque putters are here to stay.
Okay. I'm buying with you guys, and I'm buying not because of the technology, but more so the marketing. I think this is the equivalent of when an agency comes up with an idea for a product of their client and they go, hey, just say this one thing about your product that's true. And they're like, well, that's a given. And it's like, yeah, but when you say it, now everyone who doesn't say it feels like they're an inferior option because you're the only one who claims this, even though everyone can claim it. And so you're known as the brand that essentially is associated with this thing. And so even if TaylorMade or others make a zero torque putter, when you think of zero torque putter, you're going to start thinking Lab Golf now because they were the ones that kind of like put it in the name, and they're the ones that kind of said, no, this is what we got. And so I feel like when people go buy putters in the future, especially next generation, they're going to go buy a putter and be like, wait, why would I get this? It's not zero torque. So like that's like a checkbox you got to check first before then you go down to see, does it look good? Do I like this face? All those other things. So I think it's here to stay because they kind of just invented that.
And it does not hurt that JJ Spawn just won.
No, doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt.
Not the biggest major, but might be up there with it. It doesn't hurt. Adam Scott's using it. As soon as you get a Tour Pro to use your product and get a big win like that, I can't imagine. I would love to see the clicks and the searches on lab putters after JJ Spawn made. I would love to see the sales. I mean, it had to have been astronomical because every single dad sitting in his recliner that shoots 110, shit, that's going to fix my game. I'm going to buy it right now. So yeah. As soon as you have a Tour Pro using your product, you're in a good spot.
Especially in their instance where he's not like sponsored by Lab. He was using it on his own volition, which is even more of a testament to the product of saying, oh, a PGA, like we all know that these guys, like, oh, they would all, if they all didn't have equipment contracts, they would all probably play mixed bags, right? They would just play whatever the best clubs are for them. JJ Spawn is one of those guys who plays a mixed bag, and that's the putter that he wanted to use. And you talked about it, Shane, where it's about the confidence, and you mentioned it with the mini drivers as well. And I think the more and more you end up playing golf, the more and more you end up realizing that golf is so much less mechanical and so much more mental. And if it whether it costs $100 or $600, if the putter instills confidence that you feel like you will make putts with it, then you will make putts with it. It does not matter. The marketing, the technology, any of that. It's so much in your head.
Yeah. If there's any part of the game of golf that you want confidence, it's putting. That's like, the second I'm on the green, if I got to pick what part of my game I could be the most confident in, it'd be putting 10 times out of 10.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're all buying that. Trend number 3 here, D2C golf clubs. Okay, so Tacoma, Sub 70, PXG, Hogan, even McGregor, BombTech, dozens of others direct-to-consumer brands basically have sprang up since they first started around 2017. Hogan was actually one of the first to do it, and it was almost by accident. They found massive interest by the public when they were liquidating stock after filing for Chapter 11 earlier in the year. Like, they stumbled on this.
Wow.
So
we're going bankrupt.
Kind of crazy, right? Like, everything must go, and then, oh, shit, now we're at D2C. So are we buying or selling D2C golf clubs? Or are they here to stay? Let's start with you.
Sean, what do you... I was going to say, Sean, you lead. You haven't led one.
Oh, you want me to lead? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think they are. It's like the equivalent of Amazon versus buying something at a retail store. It's like, why would I not start just browsing, shopping, and comparing right there on different windows on my screen? And then as opposed to going in, it's like, I just saw 5 TikTokers and 10 other people say they love these clubs, worth a try. And if they have a refund policy or something that's like, bring it back in or whatever, even better. I personally love going and touching the clubs before I buy them, getting some swings in. Like I'm not that customer, but is there a market for this? Absolutely. I again view this as like the Amazon of things. So I am buying this.
I am selling. I'm selling this.
Okay.
I'm very strong-willed in this as well, which might be a little bit hypocritical because Lab started D2C, and now you see him at Edwin Watch, you see him in the Golf Galaxies. But with that being said, I say this time and time again, you will never see, and I am saying never, ever, ever for the rest of golf, a Tour Pro will not win a PGA Tour event with Tacoma irons, with any D sub 70, 6.9. It won't happen. It's not going to happen. Now, with that being said, there is a market for it because it makes a lot of sense. It's very affordable for your everyday golfer. So I'm flip-flopped here. They will be around for the extended future. But when it comes down to things, there's always supply and demand. And Tacoma irons, once Grant Horvat and the Bryan Bros got equity in the company, they were on a 4-month waiting list. There's going to come a time and a place where those D2C brands are no longer $600 for a set of irons. They're going to be like your Mizunos. They're going to be like, it doesn't make sense for these to stay super affordable. I love it. I think it's great. If that's what you can afford and that's what gets you out on the golf course, go fucking do it. I love that. But here to stay, they're going to be in box stores. And that's my argument. It's not going to be D2C anymore. It's going to be, oh, we're in box stores now. We're in Dick's Sporting Goods. We're in all of these companies. It's going to fade away from the direct to consumer. Like you just said, Sean, you will be able to go touch these clubs and swing them. It's not gonna. Yeah, I'm selling these. It doesn't make sense.
I like that you have that opinion. It's funny that you brought up will a Tour Pro ever win with them? You mentioned like earlier, some dad in his recliner chair saw that lab putter at the U.S. Open and started looking for it. 100% there's guys that are basically looking to the pros to figure out what they should gain. And that's, I think, for a lot of men, that's probably a little bit of I still got it if I wanted to. I could turn it on. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you think like, had something changed just slightly differently in your life, you also could be out there on the course, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I do think there is a significant portion of people who don't give a shit about what the pros play. And they want something that looks good, is affordable, or their favorite YouTuber or someone else is talking about them. And that's what incentivizes them to go do it.
That's the big thing. That is, You've got Grant Horvat, you've got the Brian Bros using them, you've got Busta Jack. I believe they're still using them. So it is that they're targeting their demographic, which is great.
Yeah.
But I would be hard pressed to say that anybody probably over the age of 40 is swinging a Tacoma club.
Woo!
Wow.
Stamp that into the ground.
Oh,
TJ just made the cutoff on that one.
I knew where he was going with that take, and I was like, if he says 35, I'm boned big time. Because I'll chime in here. 38-year-old male plays Tacomos. I will preface this: did not pay for them. I did win them in a giveaway. So shout out to Como for the giveaway. But I'll be honest, at where my game sits at, full transparency, if you have not listened to the podcast before, I'm like a mid-20s handicap. I can go anywhere and shoot what feels like it has a really good day, and we'll have 4 really good holes, but I'm going to blow up on a bunch of holes too, right? So my biggest thing when I won these, they let me order whatever I wanted to order. They weren't just like, no, we're going to send you whatever the cheapest set is. They were like, no, full custom set. You can customize shafts, lies, lofts, length, grip. They let me do the full package. The problem was that I can't go somewhere and hit them. I didn't know which clubs were right for me. Like, I didn't know what felt good. I didn't know any of that. There's nothing you can do. They have a form where you input all of your stuff and they give you a recommendation. But then also, like, the problem with a lot of amateurs and high handicappers buying clubs is that a lot of times you buy clubs to suit your swing in that very moment. But then as you become a better golfer and as you tweak your swing, those clubs no longer suit that swing that you had as a 25 handicapper, especially because a person who's a 25 handicapper is going to go through a lot of swing changes if they want to become a better golfer.
Sure.
So whether it's shortening it up, slowing down your tempo, all those things. So it's really, really tough to say, oh, do I buy these clubs that suit me based upon all this data that I input today? Or do I buy clubs that might grow with me and get better with me? Because I've also seen people who have gotten Tacomos and bought their high-end blades. I think they're the 301s and are struggling significantly with them and don't necessarily love them because they can't find the center of the club face and they're not as forgiving. So it's really tough to say, will that business model succeed moving forward? Also, to add another layer to this, I work for what was formerly mostly a D2C brand that is now seeing much larger success by being in wholesale. It is the natural evolution of a product manufacturer to move into wholesale. I guess the tough part for them is how much do the clubs then become when they move into wholesale, and how much is the markup? And then does it not work out because then everybody goes into an Edwin Watts or a Golf Mart or your PGA Tour Superstore, hits the Tacomos in the store, and then goes home and orders them for $50 to $100 cheaper? Or does the price then have to just jump up to match the same price that's being offered in wholesale?
This is a long-winded
sorry,
preface here.
I know, but I have a lot to like layer on top of this.
You have a lot of good
prior knowledge associated with. I think as, and I think this is what essentially what Shane said. I said, as a D2C distributor of clubs, I think you have to sell them. I think they either go into stores or they die. So I don't think I'm selling. I think I have to sell the concept of only being a D2C club and being like a cheaper alternative. That can't last. That will not be around in 5 years, or people will continue to try and do it, and then they'll realize after a year of selling clubs, no matter who's rocking them, what marketing they have behind it, they have to go into stores. They can still be a cheaper alternative next to your TaylorMades, your Titleists, your Pings in stores, and still be offered at a cheaper price point. But they can't just be a D2C club.
100% agree. And that's not to say that they're good clubs. I've swung Tacomas.
I love them.
They're great. But to piggyback off TJ, I'm selling the D2C. They can't be direct to consumer forever. It just doesn't make sense.
Okay. All right. So we're selling that one as a group. Let's go to one that I feel very strongly about. I'd love to go first on this one. Big letter / upside down hats. The trend of wearing upside down hats, particularly city or team logos, was largely started by True Brand, a company founded in 2020. They launched the upside down Dallas hats to symbolize the feeling of the world being turned upside down during the pandemic. The trend gained significant traction, though, when quarterback Ben DiNucci, a former Dallas Cowboys player, collaborated with True Brand and began wearing the hats. And then that was picked up by Dak Prescott. And then it blew up. Are we buying or selling? I'm fucking selling these hats. I hope they go away yesterday. I'm done seeing them. I'm done reading them. They look so dumb, and I know you guys probably own some, and it's fine if you do. It's beyond just like I wouldn't pull that off. It's more so like when I see someone wearing, I'm like, why? Like it had a moment. Okay, I get it, but I feel like it's over. I'm gonna pepper in later on, please. You too.
So the trend has run its course in Sean's eyes.
The trend has run its course, and the big letter hats too. We talked about this with Blake on the pod when we were doing a Tory episode. Like every course started having them. The company or the course over by me, Western Skies, is like local muni. They have one that just says Skies over the top, and it's really big. And the same Skies hats I've noticed are still collecting dust in their pro shop, right where they've been the whole time. I'm like, no one's wearing a Skies hat. Stop trying to make this happen.
Yeah, I'm gonna sell it. It's a fashion trend. It's not going to be one that sticks. I think in this instance, like a handful of people did them right and saw success with those, but then everybody tried to figure out a way to do it themselves, which then just inherently devalues how cool it is. And then also in a lot of instances, the first time a guy over the age of 40 buys one and wears one, it inherently is no longer cool. I say that as a guy who is constantly fighting to be cool nearing the age of 40, right? So the first time that he buys one from his local muni, or you see him and you're the guy who's 25, you've got your sick, big letter hat on that just says Tory on it, right? And then you're playing and you come in through the clubhouse and you see the older guy wearing the same hat you bought that day, you're like, damn, this hat's not as cool as it was before, is it? And it immediately devalues the stock on it. So I think you're just seeing more and more of that, the more courses try and force the hand and put them onto regular consumers.
Yeah, I'll preface mine very quickly. Quick snippet cut. Can I shout somebody out?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to shout out your own brand, shout out your own brand, Shane. We don't care.
Yeah, no, I'll preface mine very quickly. A couple of buddies of mine from college have done it right over at Richmond Sport. They just got put into Dick's Sporting Goods. That is the first big golf upside down letter hat that came out. They're blowing up. I do think it is a trend. I've worn the hats. They're great hats. They're your everyday wearer. You don't wear these on the golf course. I'm selling them.
Yeah, it's fair. It's a trend,
Yep.
and we're not bagging on anybody who makes one. All clothing brands and all hat brands have to morph with the times and follow the trends or try and set the trends. Like we're not bagging on anybody.
And lean into it, and lean
as long as you can.
full-fledged into it, and just make your money and then get out.
Yeah. All right, on this next one, Shane, I'll have you go first. This
Sounds
one
good.
is simulator only golf clubs. So basically monthly memberships at a simulator. The pandemic fueled interest in golf. The National Golf Foundation actually said 1.3 million new golfers joined the sport in the last 3 years alone. And more players means more competition for tee times, as you see in a lot of different markets. To meet the demand, a new crop of businesses are bringing golf indoors with monthly memberships to play as much sim golf as you want, and a lot of them have 24/7 access. Around me here in Phoenix, there are a ton that pop up in random business parks, strip malls. I think I have now 5 within 2 miles of my house because I'm in a very popular area of where I live. And on top of that, it annoys the hell out of me when I'm on Golf Now and I see a sim pop up as one of the tee times I can go book. That's a whole different story. But are we buying or selling the monthly membership sim and golf clubs?
I'm buying it. I'm buying it. I'm full-fledged into it. I think the idea is incredible, and it does open a completely different avenue for the golfers who are scared to go to the golf course. I make a lot of content that is saying, pick up the fucking pace of play. We got to pick this up. A lot of people are not learning the game of golf the correct way. They're going out there with their buddies. They're getting hammered on the golf course. We're playing 6.5-hour rounds. This opens up a new avenue for somebody who is scared to get into golf. Let's pay this monthly membership. Let me figure out how to swing a club first. Maybe let me go take a couple of lessons. Mm-hmm. I think it's great for the game, and it's going to bring more players to it. Probably more players will continue just to say, hey, I don't necessarily care to go to the golf course. There's a league in Michigan now that just played for $150,000. It's a fully simulator league. It is awesome. But it opens up a completely separate side of the game, which I think is phenomenal for the newer player and even the older player, where you start to get into your 80s, your later stages of life. You can't get out on the golf course when it's 95 degrees outside. I think that the simulator clubs are great for the game of golf.
Nice.
I'm buying it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll say I'm buying as well. I will say I'm buying the clubs that have memberships. I would sell simulator bars. In my mind, the stock of a Topgolf is going down, as is just we built a bar and it has 4 sims that you can rent to come and do with your family, because I think the prevalence of simulator clubs is on the rise, and I think it's going to kill simulator bars where guys can go and bring their own food or booze in or eat beforehand and then just go and still hit balls in an indoor experience. Shane touched on it. It's available year round. So for cold weather states where they have a really shitty winter season, it's humongous. Like you said, that you said that league was in Michigan, Shane.
Yeah,
that's humongous for somewhere like Michigan where, okay, cool, now we get to swing year round. Sean, obviously you're seeing 5 pop up in Arizona.
I was saying the flip for me in the heat instead of the
winter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. It's in the summer. It's a great alternative, air conditioned, all of that. Admittedly, we don't have a ton out here in Southern California. Going to throw out a nice little humble brag there.
Yeah,
but I think it's a great idea, and I think I've seen more than enough Instagram or TikTok posts talking about the financials of them and how easy it is to get them started and probably make money on them. And you're leasing out, industrial space that would be probably going to waste anyways. So I'm all in. I'm buying.
You said simulator bars you're selling, but what about bars with simulators like Trevor's?
Bars with simulators in, but the specific idea is that the place is built around the simulators, and then they also
Yeah.
offer food and drink. Selling.
So you're
Trevor's
in on the other, but out on that. Yeah.
exactly like, or there's
Yeah.
there's a brewery here in like San Marcos, Dog Lake, that is a brewery but has one sim and a putting green. All for it, right? Outside of
Yeah.
that, it can function as a regular brewery. The main attraction is not that it has a sim. The main attraction is
Yeah.
that it's a brewery. The other way around, you have a sim, but then we sell beer. Out. Sold.
Yeah. Agreed. I'm buying as well for all the same reasons you guys did. And then the one perk that I didn't hear you guys mention that I said with the 24/7 access, as a dad who has a finite window after bedtime where I get to do me.
Yeah.
There's only one option if I want to do golf, and that's grass clippings. Or
Mhm.
I go to the range, and the range is lit, but I'm not going to go play anything. I'm just hitting balls at a range. Or 24/7, you just go to one of the sims, call your buddy up at 9 at night or whatever on a Friday, and you're like, hey, let's go. No one's there. And you can go play Pebble on a sim at 9 at night and bring some drinks. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm buying too. I do think they're cool. And also, just like storage, I did a lot of marketing in the past for storage companies. They pop up everywhere because they're easy to run. They have very little staff. It doesn't cost much. And they can be put anywhere. They can be put on a corner where a building sells and they're like, fuck it, let's put up easy space right here. Let's put up a storage. Same with
Mhm.
the Sims. You can buy any office space or anywhere you want to go. They don't have to have a certain type of land to put them anywhere. So I
Yeah.
feel like that business model makes a lot of sense.
Definitely.
It's a really good note.
Okay. Next trend, golf balls with alignment tech. So they've been around for a little bit, but alignment markings on golf balls were more recently sold as technology. So they used to be, a lot of golfers actually used to draw lines on their balls and things like that because they thought it helped. But the 3 lines in Callaway's triple track pattern were kind of what popularized this, and they were developed by a guy named Ray Barrett. So Barrett was a St. Louis entrepreneur. He drew 3 lines on his golf ball to improve the visibility after teeing off. He used it for teeing off, and then later discovered that these lines are actually enhancing his putting as well. So in 2010, he contacted a doctor, Carl Bassi at University of Missouri St. Louis, and she worked at the College of Optometry. And he wanted to know, was there something to this? And she explained that the effect was actually true. It's related to a concept called vernier acuity, a concept that the brain's ability to process subtle alignment differences can be at play when you do this on the ball. So her and his team scientifically tested the concept using lasers and found that the 3-line pattern actually improved putting accuracy. So what did Barrett do? He went over to Callaway and he sold this, and then basically they incorporated this as triple track technology into their golf balls, who he has a licensing agreement with. So are they here to stay? Are we buying or selling? TJ, you go first on this one.
We're going to just harken back to an old point where confidence is key. Golf is mental. If you think this is something that instills confidence on the line of your putt, and that's what helps you make more putts, I'm for it. I think brands will continue to do it as to not have to have somebody potentially. I mean, I don't even know. Man, I would love to see if Titleist is actually ever going to do this. You know how many times you find a Titleist in the wood and it's got a line drawn all the way around it over their regular mark, right? But I think golfers are going to continue to probably see these. I will say also, like, TaylorMade toe responses that have the colored stripe on them, hands down the easiest ball to trace if you ever have to manually trace a ball on a shot tracer, because it's so vastly different. So I'm buying these. I think these are going to stay. I don't think they're going anywhere. I think the brands realized the end consumer was going to do this probably at some point, or some were.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just do it anyways, and then that way it's a branded thing, and it's also a feature or benefit that they get to offer.
Yeah,
right behind you on that, TJ. It's been around for so long thus far. It's not going anywhere. I'm buying this. I don't believe in the hype, but like we talked about earlier, it's the aesthetic. If it looks good, do it. So the triple track balls, the alignment tech, it's not going anywhere. But I don't line my putts up.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
with you, but you know what I've noticed is that a lot of ball manufacturers, if they don't put alignment tech, they're putting the word of the ball in like a
Yep.
dark line, so it's
Yep.
kind of like a subtle lineup. Titleist does this with True Feel. They have like True Feel and a little bit of a line. Strixon does it with Q Star and Z Star, where I'm like, oh, okay, I could use it if I want.
Yep.
So it's kind of already on some of those balls that don't claim it as the tech.
mhm.
And I think a lot of people are looking for this, so I'm buying this as well.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure the Z Star 2 has an arrow at
Oh yeah,
the in front of the Z. So yes, like you said, if they're
yeah,
not doing the full tech, it is on there in some capacity.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Agreed. Okay, we got four more here. We'll go through these quickly. This one is similar to the mini driver, but this one is high lofted fairway woods. So when I say high lofted here, I'm talking 7 wood or higher. Okay. So Lee Trevino is actually one of the first prominent professional golfers to utilize higher lofted fairway woods, such as the 7 wood. And over the past few years, several ball strikers like Dustin Johnson, Tommy Fleetwood, and others on tour have opted for a 9 wood in their bag, depending on the course setup for the week to provide extra stopping power into the greens. At Oakmont, plenty of players were actually doing this as well. Now, 10 of the world's top 14 players fully use or swap in a fairway wood with over 18 degrees of loft. And while driving irons are still prevalent, there does seem to be a significant shift away from them overall. Are we buying or selling? I'll start with this. I don't own one of these, but I went into a second swing and I said, "Hey, do you guys happen to have a Ping 7 wood?" And the guy went, just laughed at me. He's like, "You and everyone else, brother. Everyone wants this thing. I'm sorry, we don't got them." I was like, "Wow, okay, like everyone's looking for one." And I go, "Yeah, but I'm a lefty." And he's like, "Oh, that might change things." And so we went back there to see if there was any lefties. Still sold out of the lefties for the 7 woods and 9 woods. My buddy who I play with out here, he owns a 7, 9, and an 11 wood Ping fairway wood. He uses them all, and I'm telling you, it looks stupid, and then he hits it on the green, and you're not laughing anymore. Like it
What does an
works.
11 would even replace?
I,
Like
I
a 7
you know
iron?
who I'm,
I was
you
gonna
know who
say
I'm
probably
talking about,
7
and I've
iron.
asked him.
Yeah. Like where?
Holy
Like
cow.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
I need to see that golf bag.
Oh, I'll take a picture. You know, I'm playing with him on.
Please.
I'm playing with him Sunday. If we release this before Sunday, which I think we are, we'll post a photo of his bag as a story.
well, Shane
Oh.
also rates golf bags in his content. So if you want Shane to just put it out
You want that?
publicly,
God. An 11 wood?
I'll do that for you, Shane.
Holy
that.
cow. Goodness.
Yeah. So I'm buying. I think they're here. How about you, Shane?
Yeah, buying these two, like we talked about the mini driver. It's how you look down at something. It looks better. It looks more forgiving. You can if I hit this off the toe, I'll be okay. You can mishit these fairway woods and still be in a decent position. Whereas if you were to have a 6 iron out and you were to heel it, you're going to be in it. It's going to be a tougher shot. Fairway woods, great. They're phenomenal. And it makes a lot of sense that the tour pros are using them. They're called the 7 wood, heaven wood, and they're so much more accurate with them. Easier to hit, easier to look at, all the above. Fairway woods here to stay. 11 wood? What is going on with that? That is criminal. That should not be okay. Yeah, get that out of here. 7 wood, 9 wood, love it.
Can't wait.
Love it.
I can't wait to take a picture.
yeah, I'm buying as well. Not a hand up, not a fairway wood guy, but I do think that there's going to continue to be a market for this. Much like no one used to play hybrids. Everyone used to play their bags all the way up to a 3 iron, right? And now you see tour pros, amateurs, 3, 4, 5. You see guys who have they make iron sets that are almost full hybrids at this point, right? So for the amateur golfer, it's going to play well, and then you'll see some tour pros rock them at the top of their bags just because they are a little bit more forgiving. But yeah, so I think it's going to stay.
Yeah, you mentioned there's companies that make all their clubs. If you look up, I believe it's the Wilson Staff launch pads.
Yes,
I mean the pitching
they
wedge
are.
looks like a 3 wood. It is insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the sole on it is crazy.
It's nuts.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just looking at Ping's site right now because I want to make sure I'm just not talking out of my ass here. So He definitely has the 7 and the 9. The 11 one, I don't see on their site, but I'm guessing he's told me about it because he puts the max loft on it and makes it into an 11 wood, I think is what he does. Like he adjusts the base.
Okay. I
So,
want to say that TaylorMade had an 11 hybrid at some
No,
point.
no, they have they have. I just Googled 11 wood while we were doing this. They have an Elite Fairway 11 wood. So
Okay.
most current model comes
Oh,
in an
that's
11.
Callaway.
That's Callaway. Sorry.
Okay.
yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
11
it's
wood. Good.
it's
sweet
there.
God.
It's there if you want
All
it.
right. Okay, so sticking with equipment here, we're going to move over to same length clubs. So Jack Nicks, who a lot of people probably haven't heard of, actually patented the one length concept back in 1976. And even Tommy Armour Golf later introduced single length irons in 1989. But the recent trend, I think we can agree, gained significant momentum once Bryson started playing these. And notably, he won with single length irons in 2015 when he won the U.S. Amateur and the NCAA Division I championship in the same season. So DeChambeau's success brought a lot of visibility to single length irons, sparking curiosity and leading to the introduction by more manufacturers like Cobra, who now make them. Are we buying or selling? TJ, let's start with you on this.
First, I thought that you were abbreviating Jack Nicklaus's name and you were just calling him Jack Nicks for short. That's why I was dying there because I was like, I'm out on this. I'm selling. If Bryson is like the only tour pro playing them and he's not wildly succeeding doing it, there's no shot that anyone else even needs to be thinking about tinkering with this. This is so far down the path of trying to tinker so much with all of your equipment as opposed to potentially trying to solve the root cause of the issue, which is probably your golf swing at the end of the day or your mental capacity to play golf. This is like the guy who's got the full bottom of his putter is lead tape. And you're like, brother, what are we doing here? Right? Like we are so far away from the root cause of the issue. This is the most extreme that you can go to try and fix this thing. There's no way that I even think that this actually even remotely catches on to where you see more people even doing this. So I'm selling.
Okay.
I'm also selling these, but with that being said, I do believe that the one length clubs does offer a little bit of relief for the player that goes from hitting their 6-iron very well and can't hit a pitching wedge, or vice versa, where you can hit your pitching wedge very well and you can't hit your 6-iron very well. You've got the same exact length on every single club. You're not trying to maneuver or do little tweaks to your swing. It's the same one every single time. So I see Cobra does a great job with the one links that they have. I've swung them. I understand the appeal, but as TJ just hit on, let's work on your swing and figure out golf before going shit. This will do it. And buying, I'm selling one length clubs.
Yep. I don't need to add anything else. I'm selling. I hate them. I'm with you guys on all that. All right. We're going to go to something that I consider TJ more of an expert in. So TJ, again, I'd like you to go first on this, which is golf sneakers. Not golf shoes, but golf sneakers.
Like are we talking taking a traditional silhouette of a shoe and turning it into a golf version of that shoe?
Yes. Not just not some golf shoe that's soft spiked that kind of looks like it. I'm talking like Jordans or something else that's a golf shoe being sold as a golf shoe. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, real quick, while there's not a single founder of the golf sneaker trend, its widespread adoption and integration with streetwear culture can kind of be traced back to a few key moments, one of them being Jason Day's use of the Air Jordan 1s in 2017. And if you want to credit Fred Couples with style, he had some Echo shoes back in 2010 that people were kind of giving him shit about. But these events, combined with the broader influence of sneaker culture, led by Jordan and Nike brands, paved the way for other brands like Adidas to even release their own iconic silhouettes adapted for golf. So, TJ, please.
Yeah. So, while I will say that Nike stock at this current moment is not doing very well, they are kind of resting in their laurels of just re-releasing older stuff. And that's kind of essentially what this trend is built upon, right? It's taking famed silhouettes in the sneaker world and just releasing golf versions of them in multiple colorways. Jordan Brand can do this all the time. There are still silhouettes that they haven't even touched. We saw Reebok jump back into the game last year with golf shoes, took an old Allen Iverson player model that was famed and loved, and I think admittedly made a crappy golf version of it. They could have given that the spikeless treatment and just made the old shoe, but made it spikeless, and I think it would have sold significantly better. It looks a little more bowling shoe-esque to me with what they did. I think that because of the prevalence of streetwear and wearing whatever the hell you want to wear on the golf course, I don't think that trend is going away, and I'm buying that trend. I think this stays with it. I don't think that you can put on a pair of FootJoys that necessarily match what people are going to be wearing out on the golf course for the next 10 to 15 years. So I'm buying sneakers because they're going to have to match the clothes that are going to continue to be worn on the golf course.
I'll go next. I think there's going to be, I'm buying this as well. I think there's going to be a wider gap between the traditionalists who want to play FootJoys and look like they're wearing that old style. Think of your JTs on tour, like that kind of stuff, versus your Tony Finau's and J-Days who are wearing like something that is like, you look like you could have walked off wherever you were coming onto the course and just played golf. And I think there's a, like you said, there's a market for that, and it looks good, even though function wise, it might be a little different. So they're not my personal favorites. Like, I don't usually buy them, but I see them everywhere. And I do think this is here to stay. So I'm buying that.
I'm right behind you guys. I am a traditionalist. Your classic FootJoys, tucked in shirt, belt, all the above. I can appreciate what J-Day's doing, but with the sneaker culture, with streetwear, all of the things are being combined into golf, which I love because it is opening up the game to so many other people that it used to not appeal to. People didn't want to wear a collared shirt to the golf course. People don't want to have their shirt tucked in. So it is most certainly not going anywhere. Not my cup of tea, but that's okay. I think the Jordan highs, whatever. I'm not a sneakerhead. You look goofy, but if that's what you want to play golf in, do it.
Yeah, I would say if we were talking just high tops, I'd be selling this. I don't think high top golf shoes look good at all. But I do love me some Jordan 1 lows.
Those are also nice because
you don't have to change your shoes when you get off the golf course either. Like, you don't have to go into slides or whatever crappy sneakers that you wore to the golf course. Like, I feel comfortable just wearing those around as shoes, which is really nice. Also, I will say, not necessarily a point for sneaker versions of them, but I have on good authority from a physical therapist that some people should actually be using spikeless golf shoes as a way to not inhibit their lack of mobility. Sometimes wearing spiked shoes and being locked into the ground on your feet can restrict hip mobility and help actually worsen your golf swing. So I think it's a bonus point for the sneakers to be able to help that with people.
The spiked shoes is what did Tiger in on his back.
Yes.
He was swinging with so much torque and power, and he wasn't moving his feet at all. If he was Scotty Schefflering out there, we still might be seeing Tiger adding to his record right now.
There's a few other things that Tiger did besides wearing spiked shoes.
It wasn't just the spiked shoes. That's
no, I know.
Sure.
No, I know. But
didn't help, though. It
didn't help. His first few back problems actually came from that before all the other stuff.
For sure.
But TJ, it is funny you mentioned that. I just got off the golf course and saying, you don't have to change your shoes. You can just go into the clubhouse, grab something. If you need to stop at the grocery store, I just got off the golf course.
Yeah.
Flip-flops and socks, baby. Flip-flops and socks.
Love it.
Jesus sandals over here.
Down here in South Georgia, man.
All right, we're on to our last one here. So TJ, you haven't seen this one on the list, okay? This one is one that I chose because I'm hearing about it everywhere these days. I don't know if it truly is considered what we would say a trend, but I think it is. And this is a drink. And this drink is called the Water Hazard. So you've probably seen this around. So there was a moment there where transfusions were everywhere. Everyone was getting into the game with their own version in a can or ball markers being made, and they're still very popular. But I think this is the new one that's going viral, and it's the water hazard, which is vodka, blue Gatorade, Sprite, and lemonade. And in a recent Reddit thread where people were asking people like cart girls and others on the course, what's everyone drinking these days? Unanimously, they all said there's been a huge sudden uptick in the amount of people ordering water hazards. I had never heard of it, and the golf cart girl one day, recently, about a month ago, offered someone I was golfing with, and he's like, "I don't know, what do you think?" She's like, "Have you ever had a water hazard before?" And like described it and sold it to him. So, are we buying or selling this one? Shane, let's start with you on this. Is it?
Oh,
It might always be around, but do you think people are ordering water hazards in a few years?
Yeah. It's so tough because I think this is going to be a wildly insane comparison, but it's taken lab zero torque putters and Callaway TaylorMade hopping on board. Somebody was jealous of the transfusion. They saw that it was working and they said, let's make another drink. Lame bullshit. I hate it. It's always going to be around, but I don't want it to be. But I am, because I want to be on the winning side. I am buying it. It's lame, man. Like, what are we doing, dude? And
let it be known, history's written by the winners. Shane wants to be on the right side of history here.
I hate losing more than I like winning. So you gotta buy it. It'll be around, because here's the deal too. Transfusions are great, but you get to a point where sometimes that grape juice, after about 6 of them, it's a little bit heavy. It is a little bit heavy. So you got Gatorade, some light Sprite in there. It's gonna be here. It's here to stay.
Yeah. I will say I am buying the water hazard. Sean, you probably know this. Like vodka Powerade or vodka Gatorade was like the drink of volleyball players, like beach volleyball players, for years, and still continues to like dominate that space. Like they'll go out and play, and it's just like, oh no, well, we want to get drunk, but we also don't want to like die while we're out here, so we're just drinking electrolytes and pure vodka. And it's still like all they ever bring to tournaments, and that it's still the drink of that, and it doesn't weigh you down because it's vodka. It's not like drinking an IPA or even some lagers like that. So I think that this is going to continue to hold space because it does have that electrolyte feel to it with the Gatorade. We all know that blue is the superior Gatorade flavor, so that's going to continue to reign here. I think everybody on this call, we're all buying on that one. So yeah, I think will it usurp the transfusion? I mean, it's more golf focused, so it definitely has that play. I think. Has anyone here ever ordered a transfusion off of a golf course?
That was my next. No. I was going to throw that back to you guys. Absolutely. In the clubhouse, yeah, let me get it. Eating lunch. I have. I don't think you're going to order a water hazard eating a burger after or a club sandwich. I don't think so.
Yeah. So
I don't think so.
That's the thing, is that like in the grand scheme of things, like I think it's a great on-course drink, but I don't think it translates outside of that, where like, I don't know,
So you guys are both buying, but you're both shitting on this right now.
Yeah, because it makes sense for it to work, because it's a good on-course drink. But the transfusion, you can go anywhere. You can go to any bar in America right now and ask for a transfusion. They're going to somewhat know, and if they don't know, it's easy to make because every ingredient. If you go to your local nightclub, whatever, they don't have blue Powerade.
That's exactly the point. Every place has the ingredients on hand almost always to make a transfusion. Yes. And if not, then you can order like a pineapple transfusion and do it with pineapple juice instead, which I've seen people do tons of times.
It's great.
Most bars are not carrying blue Powerade or Gatorade to make your water hazard.
Well, TJ, you said beach volleyball players and vodka blue Gatorade. Do you know why beyond the electrolytes it was so popular with beach volleyball?
Is it because you could drink it on the beach and it doesn't look like you're drinking booze?
100%. Yeah. You would pre-make it at home. You'd put it in the blue Gatorade bottle, pull it out of the cooler. And sometimes you do a little Russian roulette. You didn't know if it was just pure blue Gatorade or not. And you just down the beach. Did this all the time in San Diego.
Sean, are you buying or selling though? I want to know your stance on this.
I'm selling. I think I agree with you guys, but you have the wrong take, and I'm selling. So
Okay.
I think it's going away. I think people don't want to say water hazard, and I think it's kind of like a thing at the moment. But transfusions, I think, are going to be here long after water hazard.
It's interesting too because you throw the play in with Bob Does Sports and their Have a Day drinks. They just came out with their own transfusions.
Yeah.
Barstool Sports has their own transfusion. You will never see a water hazard in a can. Shit. Damn.
Uh-oh.
You might have to sell this.
Uh-oh.
You'll never see it in a can.
I think you're selling.
Holy
Why?
shit.
Because you can't do the Gatorade?
Yeah. You can't do the Gatorade. You'll never see that in a can. You know what, Sean? Yeah, here we go. I want to be on the winning side.
Let's go.
Sell it. I want to be on the winning. You'll never see a water hazard in a can.
You heard it here first, folks.
Man. I can't wait for somebody to figure this out.
How would you replicate Gatorade?
It's a copyright thing. It's like you're not going to have it in a can. Exactly.
You don't think any of these salt packet electrolyte brands would make a blue-ish flavor and partner with an Owens mixer? You don't think you could see a blue liquid IV Owens mixer water hazard?
Love liquid IV, but come on, dude. When you're drinking those, you're drinking 100 grams of sodium. When you're drinking a Powerade, you're going, this is nice.
It's got that real sugar in it.
Liquid IV is great. All the other brands, Element, they're all great. But that's not going in a can.
Yeah. Interesting. I'm staying firm. I at least want to stay firm just so when something happens, we can refer back to this and say I called it. I either want you guys to be able to call it or I want me to be able to call it. Selfishly, I want it to be me.
That's fair. I respect it. Stand in your ground.
All right, Shane, thank you for coming on. I feel like you are so confident in your answers. I love your confidence. We're going to have to revisit this video in like a year's time and see if any of us were just absolutely wrong, but I'm hoping that we're right. I honestly think we had good takes on this.
It would be fun to do a... Go ahead, Shane.
Go ahead, TJ. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, it'd be fun to do a 2026 and do a post-mortem and then do an update on what new trends have arrived in the last year and what hat style do we hate come this time next year.
Yeah, maybe make this a yearly thing with you, Shane.
Oh yeah, hey, put it on the calendar. I appreciate you guys for having me. It is going to be very fun to look back in the next 6, 8, 10 months, 12 months and see what has stuck around. I think we're all going to be on the right side of history here. Some of us are going to be wrong, but mostly TJ, because water hazard is not going in a can.
I can't wait. I can't wait for the day.
And who sold mini? You sold mini drivers, TJ?
I did. We'll see.
Oh, Sean, we're walking the dog here, man. We're taking it home.
Maybe it's my handicap showing. I don't know.
Yeah, you touched on this, and then I'll let y'all go. You do not carry any woods or any hybrids?
No, I carry hybrids. I carry hybrids. I have a 3 and a 4. The 4 goes interchangeably out of the bag, depending upon how much confidence I have with the club / with my 4-iron.
Yeah.
So, but no woods.
This guy is driver iron wedge the whole course, pretty much.
Whew. Maybe you know what? If you win this, if you take the cake on most right answers, which I think it's going to come down to the water hazard,
probably
I will buy you an 11 wood.
Woo! See you later, 9-iron. I don't need you anymore. I've got an 11 wood.
I can't wait for you to walk up to a par 3 with an 11 wood, and we're all holding 8 irons in our hands.
Mm-hmm. How electric would that be, though?
Just roll her right up there. I just don't understand how you get like something like an 11 wood to hold a green on a par 3. Like, how does that?
That's the whole point of them. They're so much more
hold the green. Yeah,
they're so lofted they just sit.
Death from above. It just like poo, just sits. All right. On that bombshell, thank you to everyone who stuck around for the entire episode. If you don't already, please make sure to subscribe to Must Play wherever you get your podcasts. Rate us 5 stars so we know how we're doing. If don't rate us 5 stars so we know how we're doing if you don't want to. You can also watch the video version of these on YouTube by searching for Fair Wagers, where we also drop occasional matches and non-podcast content. Shane, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure. And we'll see you guys next time.
Appreciate y'all.
Later, guys.